P-Tech Course 4, Student Outline, Section 12, Using Mass Appraisal Techniques to Value Inventory and Fixed Assets. Learning objectives. Explain what a density schedule is, explain how density schedules are developed, calculate a value estimate on inventory and fixed assets using density schedules, list the most common units of measurement used in mass appraisal of personal property. Introduction. This section discusses relying on a mass appraisal system to value the personal property. Mass appraisal offers the best option for valuing the large numbers of accounts. It is important to create the accurate tables and schedules as required for mass appraisal. Although the market or comparable sales and income approaches can be used in machinery and equipment valuation, it is usually the cost approach that is relied upon most heavily in arriving at a valuation estimate for mass appraising. Time out.
Okay, go.
The cost approach is nothing more than determining the cost of an asset and applying a rate of depreciation that represents a loss in value attributable to depreciation. In using this method, the historical cost of an asset is trended up to today's level if necessary, and then allows for normal depreciation, RC/NLD. RC/NLD equals replacement cost new less depreciation. A review of terms. Number 1, reproduction cost. It's the cost of producing an exact replica using the same or very similar materials, design, and workmanship. Number 2, replacement cost represents the principle of substitution, replacing the item with property functionality equivalent, Replacement cost represents the principle of substitution, replacing the item with property functionally equivalent, having the same utility to the subject, not necessarily an exact replica. Trend, typically a comparison of factors for given years that are representative of economic indicators, CPI, PPI, etc., essentially used to measure the effects of inflation on specific industries. Density schedules. The density schedule is also known as the square foot method, personal inspection method, or comparison method. Number 2, computerized density schedule applications are usually known as computer-assisted personal property appraisal, or CAPA, or computer-assisted mass appraisal systems, CAMA. The method is similar to mass appraisal and real property valuation, uses typical property values by type with certain characteristics. Schedules are developed by appraisal experts for field use, and depending on the size of appraisal district, many may use commercial appraisal companies or in-house appraisers. Methodology. Start with data for a business type. Create separate schedules for inventory and use items. Individual schedules distinguish among property quality levels and densities. Effective age of fixed assets must be estimated to adjust used items only. Each quality and density combination has a value factor dollar per square foot. Number 4 requires a unit of measure of area, volume, or length. A square foot measure. Number 1, most common for use items. Number 2, good for things like retail inventory, professional offices. Cubic foot measure, length, width, and height. Number 2, good for things like warehouse inventory. C, linear feet measure. Number 1, length. Number 2, good for things like books, pipelines, lumber, clothes on racks. Number 5, requires a measure of quality. A, quality levels. 1, fair. 2, average. 3, good. 6, requires a measure of density, volume. A, the density levels are low, medium, some use average, and high. Number 7, provide method to adjust for unique characteristics. A, special characteristics. Examples are adjustments for higher class of store, playgrounds, gas sales at convenience stores, add determined rate per square foot to density schedule. B, other measures. Number 1, rooms. 2, number of rooms in a hotel or motel. Number 2, lanes, bowling center. 3, chairs, barber or beauty shop. C, valuation of inventory with a density schedule. Pepper. Number 1, in order to value inventory by a mass appraisal approach, one must find a way to group like businesses for comparison and develop some common unit of measure for that type of business. Number 2, the first step is to classify the subject property on a basis of business type, standard industrial code, etc., or B, level of trade, manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, etc. Next, measure the space used to support the business operations. Physically measure the space in which the company maintains the inventory. Note the density in which they keep the inventory stored, displayed. And estimate the quality of the inventory. Special features of the property, like location. Number 4, select the inventory schedule that best describes the property. A, refer to the classification of the property. Now adjust the schedule to reflect any special features of subject property. Is there anything that is not typical for the mix of inventory? Any parts of the inventory clearly obsolete? And finally, multiply the value from the schedule identified by classification by the unit of measure selected to estimate the market value of the subject inventory. Example. The Central Farm and Ranch Supply Company is a basic feed and hay store with a few vet supplies. The inventory is considered fair quality with medium density. Here is a simple sketch of the building they occupy. It's 130 feet wide by 50 feet deep. Why are you giggling at me? You better stop. The schedule that best represents Central Farm and Ranch Supply Company is Farm and Ranch Stores, SIC number 510. Then there's a chart, Farm and Ranch Stores, parentheses 510, inventory. So it's a chart based on density on the left-hand side and quality across the top. So the quality is fair.
Fair quality and medium density.
Right, but this is the my brain's okay. So fair quality, a small basic feed store and hay with the low density is $25. The medium density is $27, and the high density is $30.
But our subject is fair quality.
I already said that.
With a medium density. So
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, our price per square foot is $27.
Is that what the dollar amounts are?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. It doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so the fair quality with the low, I know how to read it, with the low density is $25 per square foot. And then, will you give them some more food? The medium density for fair quality is $27 per square foot. And the high density for fair quality is $30 per square foot. And then for average quality, the low density is $37 per square foot. The medium density for average quality is $43 per square foot. And the high density for average quality is $47 per square foot. And then the low density for good quality is $55 per square foot. The medium density for good quality is $57 per square foot. and the high density for good quality is $60 per square foot. Having said all that, in order to appraise this inventory using the density schedule, classify the business as a farm and ranch store. Note that this store is a basic feed and hay store and of fair quality with average density. Measure the area of the store. 50 feet by 100 feet by 130 feet is equal to 6,500 square feet. Find the schedule factor for average density fair quality, and that is $27 per square foot. Adjust the schedule factor as required. There are no adjustments required, so multiply the adjusted factor times the area to estimate the market value. $27 times 6,500 square feet equals $175,500. For most mass appraisal applications, the inventory is treated as if it is in new and saleable condition. Stop it.
It's that time of night.
Yeah, but don't stop it. D. Valuation of fixed assets with a density schedule. Valuing fixed assets by a mass appraisal approach is very much like the example of inventory. Group like businesses for comparison and develop some common unit of measure for that type of business. There is, however, one more dimension to the process: depreciation. The first step is to classify subject property on a basis of business type, standard industrial code, etc., and level of trade, manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, etc. Next, measure the space used to support the business operations. A. Physically measure the space in which the company maintains the inventory. B. Note the density in which they keep fixed assets. C. Estimate the quality of the fixed assets. D. Special features of the property like location. Then select the fixed asset schedule that best describes the property. Refer to the classification of the property. Adjust the schedule to reflect any special features of subject property. Is there anything that is not typical for this business as compared to others of like classification? And any fixed assets that are not common to others that add or take away value, like playgrounds, gas pumps, or no seating. Next, multiply the value from the schedule identified by classification by the unit of measure selected to estimate the RCN of the subject fixed assets. Next to last step, estimate the effective age of the assets to develop a depreciation factor, typically from a depreciation or percent good schedule. And finally, multiply the RCN estimate by the percent good or by the depreciation factor, and then subtract from RCN to arrive at an estimate of RCN LD of the fixed assets. Example. You are appraising the 8-year-old Shady Rest funeral home and determine it has average quality, high density, FF and E. What is the estimate of market value? These kind of fixed assets are considered to have a typical life expectancy of 12 years. Note the actual age equals effective age. Here is a sketch of the floor plan of the funeral home, 60 feet wide by 55 feet deep. The schedule that best represents the Shady Funeral Home is Funeral Homes SIC number 750. For fair quality, low density, $5 per square foot. For medium density, fair quality, $6 per square foot. High density, fair quality, $7 per square foot. Low density, average quality, $9 per square foot. Medium density, average quality, $10 per square foot. High density, average quality, $11 per square foot. Low density, good quality, $14 per square foot. Medium density, good quality, $17 per square foot. And high density, good quality, $20 per square foot. In order to appraise these fixed assets using the density schedule, classify the business as a funeral home. Note that the FF and E are of average quality with high density. Measure the area of the funeral home, 60 by 55 equals 3,300 square feet. Find the schedule factor for average quality, high density. Next page.
Next page.
That's what it says, next page.
Where?
At the end of that sentence. Next page. Right there, that one, that band. That next
Oh.
That thing next
You're all the way
page.
down there, okay.
That thing next page. So they have just reproduced the chart. So average quality, high density is $11 per square foot. Adjust the schedule factor as required. No adjustments required. Multiply the adjusted factor times the area to estimate the RCN. $11 times 3,300 square feet equals 36,300. Find a depreciation or percent good schedule designed to measure obsolescence of the type of business. There's a percent good schedule here, and the life expectancy was of 12 years. We go back to that chart. Go to 12.
You don't have to read all those factors in that chart.
Oh, good, because I wasn't going to. But the effective age, what was the effective age?
8.
Does it tell you?
8.
How do you know that?
It says it in the problem. It's in the first sentence.
Okay.
8 divided by 12.
Well, you've got to pick out the 43%.
Percent good.
So in this case, we are told that the typical life expectancy for these fixed assets is 12 years, and they are already 8 years old. So 43%, just like I had said. The final step is to multiply the RCN of the fixed assets by the percent good factor for their age. So 36,300 times 0.43 equals 15,609 for market value. A density schedule for fixed assets has 3 dimensions. The third dimension is the effective age of the property. E. Computer-aided mass appraisal tools. Most, if not all, appraisal districts rely on appraisal software to calculate mass appraisal values. Computer models are used for the purpose of automating various categories of personal property, or CAPA. The computer model is an effective tool that allows appraisers to calculate initial value estimates and to test these value estimates against current year renditions and or prior year information. These tools are valuable for medium to large size appraisal districts. CAPA values are calculated using data that has been determined during field visits. Based on the unit of measure, square feet, quality, density, and condition of personal property observed in the field, generate a model-derived value estimate. Potential problems with density schedules. Certain types of inventory are difficult to measure using a density schedule, like aircraft dealers. When a small sample size is used to build a density schedule, the reliability of the schedule is reduced. Density schedules are difficult to use when properties being examined have large variations in size and quality. There is little information provided from the owner's books regarding the sample properties for the density schedule. In summary, appraisal districts are charged with valuing all income-producing personal property at its market value, but also valuing it in a uniform and equal manner. Its movability and the failure to taxpayers to render universally make this a difficult task. In order to meet statutory deadlines and deal with large numbers, a mass appraisal system is paramount to the process. Development of density schedules allow this to happen. It is critical that the best and use data and consistency of... Hang on, I hit the wrong button on my computer screen. I don't even know what happened. What page was I on?
Let me just read the last sentence. It is critical that the use of the best data and consistency of application be goals of any reappraisal plan. End of section.